Well, we are live today, and our guest is Chief Tim Hodges. As I always say, I will always call the Chief Tim Hodges out of respect because that's how I met him. I met him on the job, and the respect that I had for him then, I have for him now. It continues to be the same. But today's interview, it's about something else. Chief, thank you for taking the time, thank you for sitting with us, and thank you for making yourself always available. Through the years, not just now.
I'll always make myself available to you, Ben. Of course, you've always been good to me. You're always fair. We've had a great relationship for many, many years now. As you mentioned back when I was on the police department, you would always show up at different scenes, and we always had a great working professional relationship, and I appreciate that.
And hopefully we will have that for many, many years to come.
Yes, sir.
Chief, you are running, this is your second run.
Mhm.
The question that everybody asks, why?
You know, Ben, well, first of all, you ask my wife, she'll tell you I'm antsy. I like to do things. And I'm extremely involved in the community. I've been involved in the community since I'm a young man. As a new police officer, I always got involved in everything. I got involved in the PBA. I was on the PBA board. When I got promoted, I was on the CLS board. I've always been involved in the community, of course, with the Yonkers Rotary. I'm the past president of the Yonkers Rotary. I've been involved in Leukemia Lymphoma Association, the Gift of Life. So I'm always out doing something with the community. So I really feel like this is the time for me. As I walk around the district, you know, I'm asked all the time, Tim, please run, we need change. We need change in the district. So here I am, I'm ready to do it. I rolled my sleeves up. We've been working feverishly the last 2 weeks, actually the last couple of months, but we waited till Labor Day, but now we're out knocking on doors every day. We're out meeting the people, and I'm telling you, we're getting a really positive message, so I'm happy for that.
Chief, I remember the counts, when the counts came down on the 2021, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Was 300 votes short. In a city of 30,000
Sure, yeah.
residents, that's nothing.
No, it's a small amount, and you know what we've noticed is, the last time was during COVID, and it was very difficult to get my message out to people. People were reluctant to shake hands, they were reluctant to answer the door. That's why I previously told you, the message we're getting now is super positive. We get a great message, we get a great reaction from people. So I think we're in a much better place this time. There was also some redistricting that was done that seems to, maybe it will help us in a way. And it's also a new group of people that we can get out and reach.
What have you learned from that past campaign that you now would do different? There is, you know, we always learn in life. There is always things that, in every aspect of life, professionally, personally, things that we always look, I should have done differently. Maybe I should approach it from this angle. Is there anything you learned from your past campaign that this campaign it will not happen or done differently, sir?
That's a great question, but we could go on probably all day about that. I learned so much. You know, I was a police officer. I wasn't a politician. I still don't feel as though I'm a politician. I feel like I'm a voice for the people. What I really want to do this time is get out more, get out every day. I am going to work up until the last minute of this election. I think the last time we kind of did what we thought was great for the community, get out there, talk to people, give our message. But we kind of, you know, we didn't do it with conviction. This time it's with conviction. I'm going to go out every day. I'll meet people. I've given out my cell phone to people. I want to meet everybody. If they have an issue, I want to meet them. So I think it's all messaging. If I learned anything, it's getting the message out. If people don't know the message, they're probably going to just vote for an incumbent and just say, well, we're better off with what we have right now.
You know, Chief, last year, not last year, but last campaign, things were a little different. The district was cut up differently, and the quality of life for the district that you ran for before, it's different than the needs of the quality of life for the new districts that you're looking to represent. Different people, different needs, different priorities for the people. Have you talked about that? And when you talk to the people of the old and new districts, what are their concerns? What do they tell you? Listen, what is my concern? What I want you to focus on? Do they tell you now anything like that?
Yeah, so the biggest thing I've seen so far is at Crestwood Lake Apartments. It's a huge, expansive apartment complex, and I've walked the entire complex. I've spoken to probably 90% of the people in that complex. So you hit it on the head. What those people in that area are, and it's extremely diverse, which is different for the 6th district. There's a huge Indian community there, Pakistani community, Bangladeshi. There's a huge diverse community, and they're a wonderful community. But they're concerned about crime. They're concerned about affordability. It's a middle income area, and they're very concerned about the schools. And those are the top 3 on my list. And as you know, I was involved in the police for 34 years. During my tenure as chief, along with Police Commissioner Gardner, we drove crime down to the lowest levels ever. So that's something that I'm very good at. I've proven that I'm good at that. The affordability, I will work with the mayor on that. I'll work with anybody. I'll speak to anybody. And our schools are golden. I'm a product of Yonkers schools. So I understand what it's all about. I understand what, especially those formative years, the grade school into the high school. And I think we've come a long way in our school system. I was driving by the Barack Obama school yesterday, and I was looking, and I said, what a beautiful school. This was a school that my mom went to way back in the day. It was called Commerce. And my mom graduated high school from there a long time ago, probably in the early 50s. But I was looking at the school and I said, this is amazing. And now it's named after a president, and it's still functioning, and it was nice to see that.
Now, Chief, you more than anybody else, because you were a former police chief, you know the statistics, you know how things work when it comes to crime, classification of crimes. Now, many people in Yonkers disagree with you. Many disagree with the mayor, because I am at most of the press conferences at the police station, at the mayor's office, and the mayor always says that crime is down. But somehow, the people of Yonkers don't feel that way. They think that the crime is up. My explanation to it is that nowadays, crime gets exposed 10 times, 50 times more than what it used to be. Now there is always somebody like me, every time something happens, filming, broadcasting it, and everybody knows. 20 years, 30 years ago, there was no one. Sometimes news reporters showed up, News 12 showed up, sometimes don't. So it gave you an impression that crime was low back then. So what is now you're no longer in the police department, I guess you have a little bit more freedom to speak, but maybe your opinion continues to be the same, that crime is down. Is it down, sir?
So I haven't seen the statistics, of course, I'm out of the business right now. But from what I do see in the Yonkers Police Department, and I still have many friends in the department, and I actually have relatives on the police department, and they tell me about the programs that are going on, the neighborhood stabilization programs, and Commissioner Sapienza, I think, is doing a fabulous job, and he always did. He's always been a professional. Sometimes the numbers don't speak. It's perception, and you hit it on the head. If people don't feel safe, then that's a problem. So it's funny, I was at Crestwood Lake Apartments the last few weeks. I see the first precinct guys and girls on patrol, and I think that's wonderful. Everywhere I go, I see the patrol officers, and also the media, and especially the national media, the last few days, they've been showing horrific murders on one was on a subway, one was in a park, I believe it was in Alabama. Unfortunately, when they see that, they say, oh my God, that could happen here in Yonkers, that could happen. And it could happen anywhere, but we are statistically an extremely safe city. We always have been. We're supported greatly by the administration right now, the police, and I also have to give kudos to the fire department. We have one of the best fire departments in the country.
Could not disagree with that.
So we're blessed in Yonkers. I mean, there's neighboring cities and towns that don't have the funding that we have. They don't have the leadership that we have. So sometimes I think it's more perception than reality.
Than reality. Now, with if you look around the country, you see National Guards in many states, municipalities, big cities. The current president is talking about sending the National Guards to New York City. That might touch Yonkers. I don't know. I'm just giving you scenarios. What is your perception or your understanding or your opinion on that one?
You know, at first I had mixed views about it, and I can only speak for the Yonkers Police Department. The Yonkers Police Department does such a great job. We don't need the National Guard to come in here. We don't need the military to come in here. New York City has an incredibly great leadership right now. And historically, the people that I've worked with down there are very well adept at their jobs. I don't think New York City needs it either. I think they do a great job. And a lot of times this is grandstanding and fear-mongering. And I don't think it's appropriate. I think those large police departments do a great job. And I think they should be allowed to do their jobs to the best of their ability. To bring the National Guard or the Army in, that isn't trained, they don't know the laws, they don't know about our bail system, they don't know about the penal law system, which is different in every state. So I think all it would do is actually wreak some havoc on cities, especially a big city like New York City. And Yonkers is, I always say it all the time, it's the best police department in the country. I worked for it for 34 years. I never had a bad day on the job. I loved every minute of it. The professionalism, the camaraderie is amazing. We don't need the feds to come in here and help us.
Well, Chief, I think I told you this before. I was not too pro-police, okay, years back.
Ben, we went through this before.
We went through
talked
this.
about this.
We did talk about this. But after I started doing Yonkers Voice, I came to realization that many things are not what we think they are. Many things that we see are not exactly what what is happening. And I see how those officers work. And I could tell you from the bottom of my heart, a large percentage are excellent. Are there some police officers that need a little adjustment in the sense of training? Yes, but that goes with everything in life.
Right.
Okay, that goes with everything. Now let's move back to Yonkers, because you're running here
Right.
as a council person representative in the city of Yonkers. Councilman Merante accused you of dishonesty regarding his support for the capital budget, which he says passed unanimously. With his support, how do you respond to this claim, and how will you ensure accuracy to your campaign messaging this time around?
All right, so Ben, let's clear this up right now.
Let's do it.
I am not a liar. I am a forthright person. I've always been my whole life. What happened was Anthony Merante, who votes mostly no for everything, and we know that he votes no on every budget, on every raise, on everything. He voted for the capital budget. So my analogy to that is, when you vote for a capital budget, we paid for 6 new fire trucks, but if you vote no on the operating budget, you have nobody to put in those fire trucks and fight fires. So I think it was ridiculous, and he's a CPA, not me, but why would you vote to buy items that would just sit there? You have to have an operating budget, you have to pay your staff, you have to pay police, fire, teachers, city workers who are out there that work very hard, parks department. So when you vote no on an operating budget, but you vote yes on the capital budget, to me, my opinion only, I think it's ridiculous.
It's like
Sorry.
voting in building new hospitals, but no doctors, no nurses, no nothing.
Exactly.
So what good will that do?
Let's
right?
let's buy a new x-ray machine, but we don't have x-ray technicians.
Exactly. The 6th district is a Republican stronghold, yet you are running as a Democrat with a conservative lean, as you did in 2021. How do you plan to appeal to the district conservative voters while staying true to your values?
Good question, Ben. So yes, I'm a Democrat, but I'm an extremely moderate Democrat, and I have the conservative nomination. So that leads me to believe that the conservatives actually know that I'm a middle of the road, common sense Democrat. I've been out there, I've been talking to people, I get to see them, and I think the biggest thing that people know from me and from my past is I'm a person of action. I get out there to the community, I see what they're doing, I challenge everybody, I ask everybody. Mr. Merante just put out a mailing introducing himself to people in the district, new people in the district after redistricting. We redistricted last year. That's a whole year has gone by, and now you're 2 months before the election. You're going to introduce yourself to the community you serve. So stuff like that. I like Mr. Merante. I think he's a really nice guy. We need change. We need someone who's going to be out there, boots on the ground, not a jot form. Not fill out a jot form. Fill out this form if you feel like you need something. No, call me. I'm speaking to the 6th district. You call me, I'll give you my cell phone, you know where I live, come by, we'll have a cup of coffee. I will be a representative for the people every day, not during tax time, during any time of the year, I will be there for you.
So with that said, I'm going to make it clear that Yonkers Voice does not endorse or oppose any candidate. I know them all. I like 99.9 of all our local politicians, including Chief Hodges, Mr. Merante, and all the others. My job is to ask the questions that will help you decide who should you vote for. This is not an endorsement. This is just give information to those that live in Yonkers through our platform.
And if I could elaborate on I like Mr. Merante. I think he's a nice guy. I don't dislike him. It's not personal. I just feel like I am a person who will act for everyone in the district, every local person in that district. I feel parts of the district are not represented well, or not represented at all. And I think it's incumbent upon me to run for this office to make sure that everybody's voice is heard. Everyone in the Yonkers Voice is heard.
Oh, they will hear, they will hear. Chief, in 2021, some people criticized your campaign for being tied to Mayor Spano's political machine. How will you demonstrate your independence from party influences and focus on the needs of your district if you are elected?
It's funny you asked that question. So in 2021, Mr. Merante accused me of running because I was mad at the mayor because I didn't become police commissioner. So it's ironic now he's saying I'm running because I'm involved with the mayor and I'm a yes man for the mayor. So there's a bit of a dichotomy there. I feel like as though I'm a professional. If I disagree with the mayor, if I disagree with the administration, if I disagree with a different council person, if I'm elected, I will voice my opinion. I'm not a yes man for anybody. I never will be. I have a great relationship with the mayor and most of the city, all of the city council. And I brought this up at the last interview. I will be flexible. I think right now, and I hate to, Mr. Merante's not flexible. He's not flexible with anybody. It seems as though it's always a no. My biggest asset to work with the administration now would be, and the Spano family, because you mentioned Spanos, would be to work with the mayor to get better things for the 6th district. One vote of no does nothing. It still passes. So what we need to do is say, Mayor, I get this is gonna pass. What do we get in the 6th district? I will kick and claw and bite for the 6th district. That's who I'm gonna represent. And I'll make sure that we get parks done, roads done. I went, I'm sorry, off topic. I was on Shoreview Drive. I took a photo. I was in a pothole that was about 8 inches. That's what I'm gonna fight for every day. That pothole, the issues, there was some vermin problems there. That's what I wanna fight for. Mr. Merante accused me of not being with the mayor. In 21, I was against the mayor. I hated the mayor or something. Now I'm in the mayor's back pocket. So my thing is, I'm my own person, Ben.
Exactly.
And you know that. You've been out there with me. But I know you can't give me your opinion.
Well, no. You see, my questions, Chief, are not questions that I have personally. It's questions that people have, and I want to give you the opportunity to clarify that, so people don't go under the misguided perception or formulate their own opinions based on what somebody else says.
Right.
So now you have the opportunity to clear things out and tell the people of Yonkers what it is.
Thanks, Ben.
That's my goal. Now, something that it's very dear to me, and I had to bring it to you. It's cases of animal cruelty in the city of Yonkers. Okay, I don't see many council people addressing that. I don't know if they don't take it serious enough to devote the time to make law, pass laws, or whatever needs to be done, but it's going on. I just saw a dog that we posted on Linden Street, mistreated for many years. 2 days ago, a little dog was found deceased on a sidewalk by a 10 St. Andrews. The police was there. But the point is, when people get caught doing those things, the consequences are not serious enough. Pay a fine, a few hours of community service, promise not to do it again, and go home. How you see issues, and I know you love animals. Okay, I know you love animals as well.
Up, sure.
Okay, what about issues or change codes, laws, whatever needs to be changed to deal with those people that abuse those animals that cannot speak or articulate their problems?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, I'm an animal lover. My wife goes crazy, but if I see a bird or if I see an injured bird or a baby bird or whatever, I bring them home.
What turtle?
Turtles. I have turtles, I have tortoises, I have koi fish, I have a dog, I have 8 aquariums. I love animals. I'll take in any animal. Our next dog, I told my wife, we've got to get a rescue, so hopefully we'll do that. You bring up a great point, because I remember in the police department, we have canine dogs, and sometimes people would mistreat our dogs, hit the dogs, attack the dogs, shoot some of our dogs. The Rotary Club at one point bought vests for the dogs. They actually bought bullet-resistant vests for our canine dogs, which I thought was wonderful. I love animals. I would fight for animals. I would fight for increased laws and penalties for that, just because I am an animal lover. And you make me upset when you see a dog on the side of the road or an animal that's mistreated. I get very upset over that. So I would definitely look at that and make sure that doesn't happen. Again, I've been knocking on doors every day, and the big thing is when I meet people and their dogs, I love to meet the dog also. So yeah, I'm an animal lover.
Look, I'll tell you one thing. If you knock at the door and a dog comes out and that dog likes you, you got that vote.
I hope so.
Okay, you get that vote. Mr. Merante has emphasized his accessibility and responsiveness to constituent. I have a hard time saying those words. such as addressing potholes, tree removals. How will you improve the community engagement and response if you are elected? You just spoke about the potholes, but the potholes are everywhere in Yonkers. We just had one at the Sawmill River Parkway the other day. It was a huge one.
Huge.
Okay, and we could have more. The infrastructure, I don't know if it's not there or if it's too old and needs to be looked at, but in order to prevent that, sir, what would be your plan?
Yeah, so, you know what, and again, I like Mr. Merante, but, you know, he claims it's all about you, but if you call his office, and I know people that have called him, and he's not attentive to them. I'm not saying all the time, he created a jot form about 6 months ago, I don't know. We'll have a full website, people will have my cell phone. Any issue that comes up, we'll address. We're not gonna fearmonger, we're not gonna grandstand. Mr. Merante brought up about the water runoff on Odell Avenue. Now, I lived in One Holy Terrace for 10 years, so I lived at the bottom of that hill where the rain does come off. I don't believe that the mountain's fallen down, and I don't like the fact that there's fear mongering. And I know people that Mr. Merante called and said, please come here so that we can take some photos about how bad this is and the runoff and I don't know, gonna build an ark or something. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to be professional. I'm going to say, if we have a problem, let's fix it. There is water runoff there. This city has 7 hills. So let's address all 7 hills. Let's find out about water. The Swiss are amazing at this in Switzerland. I was in Switzerland a couple of years ago. They created all these ducts and amazing ways to redirect the water. That might be a possibility. My point is, I'm not gonna fearmonger. I'm not gonna tell people it's the end of the world. What I'm gonna tell them is, we are going to find a solution if it's possible. Let's look at all the options, let's hire professionals, find out what we need to do, but everybody will be listened to. Everybody in that district will be listened to. As I said, they'll have my cell phone number, there'll be a website, you can ask questions at any time. So my availability and accessibility will be like none other.
Chief, Yonkers faces potential federal budget cuts that will affect programs like Meals on Wheels, school fundings. How would you advocate for the city's interests at the state and federal level to protect those services?
Meals on Wheels is a great thing. The Office for the Aging in Yonkers, I've used them, I've spoken to them, I've talked to them, our parks. They do an amazing job. I don't know if you've had experience with them, but especially the Meals on Wheels, we have to fight for that till the end. We have elderly community which can't get out of the house, they can't come go, and they don't have the funding to even have food sometimes. I have family in this city that are from very meager means, and you know, sometimes we supplement them, we help them with food. Some of those get the Meals on Wheels. It's essential for them, and a great part of that is, believe it or not, is they have someone to check on them, and they have somebody to socialize with. There's a lot of elderly people in this city, and I'll tell you, my kudos to the Office of the Aging. They do a fantastic job. But just to have people socialize, and a lot of the events for seniors, I see it listed online, they're amazing. So I would fight tooth and nail for those programs to stay incorporated, because they do a great job for our citizens.
Have you ever been in one of those programs with Kelly?
Kelly, I didn't want to mention her by name, Kelly Girella.
She's doing her job. She's doing a great job. So
she is spot on. I'll give you a quick story. One Holy Terrace, which I lived in for 10 years, I was just telling you, Warburton and Odell. There was a terrible fire there after I had moved out, and I went there, and an individual actually perished in the fire. Kelly showed up with a bus, and they were taking people for hours down to the armory. And when I saw her in action that day, it was probably the first time I saw her work, and it is truly amazing. And every time I call her about an elderly person or someone who may be in need, she responds immediately. So to have those programs available to us is priceless, and we would have to fight feverishly to keep them.
So kudos to Kelly.
Yes.
Kudos to Kelly. Let's say we're having another interview, and I'm sure we will, a few years from now, and you were elected to represent the 6th district. So let's talk about your vision for that district and what you hope to accomplish. I think we all understand that vision and accomplishments are two different things. I might have a vision, but maybe there is no support to accomplish and execute those visions.
Yeah.
But what are your priorities? What would be you would be addressing first? I know that priorities are many, but like everything in life, in our own lives, we prioritize and we hit the things that we feel are more important. What is it?
So I think the biggest thing, and we always did this in the police department, we planned, planning ahead, planning 5 years from now. What's our 5-year plan? What's our 10-year plan? Most organizations do it. We do it in St. John's Hospital now. I think the biggest thing would be to make sure that the schools are appropriate and they're taken care of and funded properly. I visit a lot of the schools now, and I see great progress with them. So that progress has to continue. Parks, our parks have come so far. I remember as a kid playing in Heafy Park on Van Cortlandt Park Avenue, and it didn't have anything. It had seesaw and a couple of swings. Our parks are much better now. Welty Park, they just redid. But in 5 years from now, 8 years from now, we may have to redo it. So that should all be planned ahead. Pickleball has really taken off in Yonkers, all over the country. We need to create more pickleball courts, and I do see them around, but we have to increase those. We have a community that loves to play cricket. We need to have a cricket field or stadium very soon. The community is going to demand it. We want it. I actually love watching it, so I would love to have a cricket field. So these are things that, and as they come up, and people say, hey, how about if we can do this, if we can make things a little easier, a little better. Safety, vehicle safety. I mentioned this the last time. Central Avenue is like a racetrack sometimes.
Yes.
But
It's been that way for many years.
Many years, but that should be part of the plan. How do we slow people down? I brought it up the last time, by Palmer Road going northbound is a huge decline. People speed up. There's been fatality accidents there. That should be a 5-year plan. How do we divert that traffic? Maybe divert people onto the Springbrook Parkway with an overpass. So to your point, all of these visions should be put somewhere and worked on, so that in 5 years maybe we incorporate something like that. But safety, crime is one big thing, but vehicle safety and the speed, sometimes the speed in the city, and people passing school buses, they do it right in front of me. I like that they have the cameras now on school buses, so maybe there'll be more technology down the road that we can make it even safer for kids crossing the street or getting on and off school buses.
And let's hope that we make the school bus drivers a little bit more safe too, because it's not just the guy that crosses. Often is the bus driver also that is unsafe,
Yeah, true.
We can blame both sides, but yes, I agree with you. Now, Chief, campaigns are not cheap, okay? There is always huge expenses associated with campaigns. It's not just I have a dream and let's do it. Funds are necessary. If anyone who's watching wants to donate to your campaign, how do they do that, sir?
I'm gonna have to post it. I'll give you.
Okay.
I'll give you it's called Act
the
Blue.
link.
I'll give you the link. Brought up a good point. Our fundraising is doing really well. So I'm not the expert at this, but I think it's an indicator that people want change, and they see that my campaign is doing well. We're doing much, much better than we did with campaign funding than we did last time. Every dollar will go to the campaign. I will make sure that every dollar is so important for signs and advertising and getting our message out there. So that's a good point, but I will give you the link.
Yes, or maybe one of your team members can
Yes.
post a link to donate. Please click here.
Yes,
You know,
thank you,
to
Ben.
donate.
But
No,
the campaigns are not cheap.
they're
that's
not
for
cheap.
sure.
And I
Yes.
tell you, I think they're much more expensive than meets the eye, than many people think.
Yes, well, I learned the hard way, yes it is.
Chief, is there anything that I forgot to ask you that you might want to bring up, that you want to tell the people of Yonkers?
Well, you know what, Ben, again, I'm a lifelong resident. I grew up on Carroll Avenue, a few miles from here, very humble beginnings. But Yonkers has always been my home. I played for the Luddale Boys Club. I went to PS 13 for kindergarten. And I have amazing, great memories. I did attend St. Denis Church and school, which isn't even there anymore, to 8th grade. Went to Yonkers High School. We used to walk from Carroll Avenue up to Yonkers High School. But I had a great, great childhood here in Yonkers. I've had a great adulthood, working for the police department pretty much my whole adult life. I interacted with so many people in Yonkers. Now having the opportunity to work at St. John's Hospital and just help people, help facilitate things for our customers, clients, and patients. It's good to be part of this, the fabric of Yonkers, and to be able to help. So the vision is to become councilman in the 6th district and represent people even more. Go the extra step for them. I'm still young, I'm still vibrant, I'm still happy to help people. So I think I'm the candidate that should represent the 6th district. I'm ready to help, roll up my sleeves and help anybody, and I will be there for everybody, and I'll be accessible all the time.
You know that song, I don't care how you get here, just get here?
No.
Well, that's the song. If it's not written, I'm gonna write it.
Okay.
I don't care how you get here, just get here. We're gonna change it to, I don't care who you vote for, just vote.
Yes.
Because elections have consequences. And sometimes we sit back and we talk about this candidate or that candidate or this political stance or that political stance. But when it comes time to make the decision on who we think should be elected, people don't go
Yeah.
out in there. So
Yeah.
how important it is.
So it's funny, I grew up in a humble home on Carroll Avenue, but we turned 18. My parents said, get out, vote. I never missed an election since I'm 18 years old. I hope to never miss one as long as I live. You hit it on the head. It's extremely important. The people should choose who represents them. I'm all for that, fair and square. However this election pans out, I will still support Yonkers. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here forever. Again, I like Mr. Merante. I think he's a nice guy. I think I'm a much better candidate for the district at this point. And I will represent it. And please, get out and vote, because if you don't vote, then it's meaningless. You
Exactly.
have to exercise your right to vote.
So guys, as always, we don't tell you who to vote for. That's your personal decision. But we invite all the candidates to come and talk to you, to tell you why should you vote for them. Okay, let your conscience speak with you. You have the answers. You know the man. You know him for many, many years. You also probably know Mr. Merante. Vote for what your conscience tells you to, but vote. Come out and vote.
Yes, very important.
Right?
Yes, Ben. Yep.
Chief, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You
And
sure
thank you, Prince. He's on the camera. He doesn't get any.
Oh, he gets credit
Oh,
because
credit? Okay.
people know if it's not because of Prince, many of these interviews would not happen. So this is not just me. I'm just a guy in front of the camera, but the big job is behind the
He's
camera.
doing a good job.
He's
Ben,
Prince.
thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thanks
Chief.
for everything.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for watching. Now don't forget, the magic of social media is by sharing. Share this video, send it to your friends, Send it to your enemies. Maybe maybe your enemies say, you know what, I didn't see it from that angle.
Right.
Okay, send it to everybody. Share the information. Same way I say, share the love. Be
Right.
contagious of love. Be
Right.
contagious of information, because information is power. Once you know, then you can make a decision based on correct information. And no better way of getting to know your candidate than by talking to the candidate.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you. Until next time.
Thank you.